Hello and welcome to the Pickup WNBA podcast. I'm your host, Cathryn Eicher.
And I'm your other host, Freddie
Wow.
Rivas. What's up?
And this is episode 123, baby. 123.
123. You know what's easy as 123?
Oh, God.
Checking out our social media. The Pickup WNBA podcast, YouTube, Blue Sky, soon, Twitter, who cares? Insta, that does matter for us. And any other way that you find us, we appreciate. We know we got a bunch of reviews and cool comments and stuff on Spotify. We do. It's a whole thing with checking Spotify, but we'll figure that out at some point. Um, a lot of folks have found us through our survey. And also filled out the survey with
That's
ACAST
awesome.
and the Sonar Network, and it's awesome. So please keep doing that. It is incredible for us. And um, if you listen to this podcast all the time, you're like, wow, this survey shit, like it's pretty regular. Yeah, so it is. It's important. We're trying to get as many numbers and feedback as possible, and it will be good for us and hopefully our fans as well in the long term. So shout out Acast, shout out Sonar, and shout out everyone who's done the survey and who will do the survey. And please, like, subscribe, hit us up. I also want to say that we so far have 3 folks who have joined our WNBA fantasy idea. So like,
Amazing.
it's like small but mighty, but I think like, I also got some friends and shit. So I feel like this is gonna happen. So will I populate it with WNBA friends of ours? Yes. Would I rather it be like all listeners? Also, yes. So, um, yeah, we'll try and
You
keep it
probably have
open.
a few friends who are listeners.
Yeah, there's some
Probably
crossover.
more, probably more on your side.
Some crossover.
My
Some
friends
crossover.
are like, "Oh, we're so happy. That's so nice for you." You know what I mean? Like, I have,
Those
like, a lot of, like,
those
"Oh, that's
friend
so good for you."
those friendly
Friends.
bastards. But yeah. Anyways, that's my info dump.
Yeah, we're gonna set up this fantasy thing in the next, like, week or 2, so, yeah, stay tuned for that. People who have messaged us to say they're interested, thank you so much. We'll be in contact shortly, and you still have time to let us know if you're interested. And you'll get a message from probably me, but one of us directly, and we'll set it up.
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah, May 16th, first game. So
Yeah.
mm,
So yeah,
we'll
we've got
we'll keep it
another
open for a couple
maybe
more
another
pods.
w maybe another week or so,
Yeah.
and then we'll get rolling on that. Cool. So we've got, some interesting sort of preseason topics, for you today. It was media day today, lots of fun there. We have some MVP odds to
Mhm.
discuss, and then we also have, like, a 13 questions, which is, like, one pivotal question for every team thing that was written by ESPN, but we'll kind of go over some highlights of that. So, Freddie, let's start with some MVP odds first. Where do you want to start with this?
Yeah, so I'll read out, this is just like a bet GM MVP odds. So you got
Not
Caitlin Clark,
sponsored.
not sponsored. Caitlin Clark, number one. These numbers don't mean anything to me, but I think it's just the lower the number, the less money you make. But all that really matters is these are like sort of the top 10 betting favorites from the gamblers. Caitlin Clark, 195, Asia Wilson, 210, Nafisa Collier, sorry, 325, Brianna Stewart, 1400, Satu Sabali, 2500, Sabrina Ionescu, 3000, Alyssa Thomas, 4000, Jewel Lloyd, 4500, Kelsey Plum, 5500, and Kalea Copper, 6600.
So, Caitlin Clark is number one, which
Yes.
is, I think, interesting. It's one of those things where it's like, of course she is, but a
Mhm.
part of me, and I do love Caitlin Clark, but it's like it's only her 2nd season, and I feel like I mean, I wanna see her take it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying she isn't going to, she probably will have many MVPs in her career, but and I've already talked about on this podcast months ago, I think Nafisa Collier is winning MVP this year,
Mhm.
and I haven't strayed from that at all. But you wanted to talk about a possible outside pick just for fun, because I mean, I think, like, Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson, Nafisa Collier, and Breanna Stewart are, like, a clear top 4 for this cat like, to win MVP. Like, I feel like that's a pretty
Yes.
solid top 4.
And I think they all could win.
Yes,
Like, they
that's
all
my
could
point.
win, and they all could, like, like, deserve it, like, they gotta be healthy, the narrative's gotta be right, blah, 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 but yeah, anyways, yeah, I'm just agreeing with you that those 4 players are, like, are the MVP candidates, I would say.
Yeah, like, that's a pretty solid top 4, but just to make this conversation a little more interesting, Freddie, you wanted to think about a possible outside pick
Mhm.
for this award. Who
Yes.
is your outside pick for MVP?
So my outside pick that is on this board, and really is like the sort of who I was thinking about when I asked this question, is Sabrina Ionescu. I really think that the kind of like overall confidence she's riding and the structure of the Liberty puts her in a position to kind of like have just won that championship, but also still kind of has like a chip on her shoulder. Whereas like, Brianna Stewart, for instance, like I think is this interesting player who has like a wildly successful career. So she's just kind of like racking up accomplishments, but like she has the MVP. She has the championships. And I think Sabrina might still want that individual accolade.
Yeah.
And the way that the Liberty is structured, I feel like, it could be something as so simple where it's like Brianna Stewart misses 10 games for like managing an ankle. And like in between that time, Sabrina's like the main driving force for like a really strong, repeat Liberty team with like a bump in numbers. So like that for me is kind of like an outside pick.
Mhm.
That's sort of my outside pick.
Yeah, that's a good one. I feel like to be a long shot for MVP, it can't just be about the individual numbers. You have to drastically exceed expectations,
Mhm.
both as a player and as a team. Like
Yes.
I feel like MVP gets really sketch if like, you're not on a winning team. And so when I look at this and I think major outside chance of MVP is Kelsey Plum. Because if Kelsey Plum, leaves Vegas, goes to LA, and emerges as like a top player, the best player on the team, which I don't know if she is between her and Dearica Hamby, um, or Rakia Jackson, honestly. I'm not sure. But if she emerges
Team
from
Hamby over there.
okay, easy. Okay, easy team, Ryan Howard.
Hey.
Anyway, I just saying like major outside chance if she emerges as like the best player on the Sparks and the Sparks have like an amazing season and they are like, 5th in the play like, like they get like the 5th seed or something like that,
Mhm.
then I think she can really start to drive a narrative for her because, like, that's such a clear narrative to me. Like, oh, like you were a supporting player on this team, but now you've left and now you've emerged as like the best player on this team and they've had their best season in years and like, all of that sort of thing. I feel like that is like a window to sort of crack this top 4. But, I mean, I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but I'm curious if that's gonna happen because I feel like that's part of what this move is for her,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't really know the sort of like the tea on like how much like is how much of a part of this move, like how big of a is she a part of this move? Like, did she sort of I feel like it was sort of like a mutual parting of ways, and I don't really know that, like, she drove this, but I definitely think from, like, a competitive perspective that she's definitely what? Like, she was,
She's a
like, the
competitor for sure.
oh, yeah, but I was gonna say, like, she was, like, I think at times, like, for most of her, for most of her career, like, since, like, Asia's major emergence has been, like, somewhere in between, like, the 2nd and 3rd best player, and then for parts of last year, I think was almost like the 4th. But actually that's not fair because I think that, like, Chelsea Gray, I would put as the 4th, but she was sort of this, like Chelsea Gray has this, like, mystique of being, like, doesn't matter how good or how, like, impressive her numbers are or aren't, she's like that, I think she's, like, the clutch person in the
I
W.
would argue that if a player other than Asia Wilson had a shot at MVP, it could be Chelsea Gray because she has a finals MVP. So she's
Mhm,
already kind of been put in that bracket. Also, too, she could have like really high assist numbers, right? Like, I'm going to make an NBA comparison here, but when Steve Nash won his MVPs, it was more about the assists than it was about the points. Like, he had games where he had, like, 15 assists a game, right? So it's like, if Chelsea Gray's having that kind of a season, because last year she was hurt and all of that, right? But, she based on, what we've seen, over these last few months, I feel like her legs are back. So, that to me is, like, another, like, outside shot sorta thing who isn't on that board.
that's interesting. I think
That's interesting.
hmm,
I disagree.
yeah,
I think you are full of it.
yeah, that's, the worst take I've ever heard. Uh, no, I where I'm at with Chelsea is I think that she is just, like, in the twilight of her career, like, I don't think she has, like, the carry her team.
Really?
Honestly,
Well, I'm
here's
not
the thing.
saying she's carrying the team. First of all, this is so deeply hypothetical. No one's winning MVP outside of Asia Wilson on the Aces, let's be
Yeah, I
real.
know, but, like,
Like
but
like like
listen,
Jackie Young's not winning it. Like nobody else is winning an
all
MVP on the Aces.
no, but I'd argue that I think,
Look
like,
at look at the stretch.
yeah, I'm stretching. I'm out here stretching, okay? I had a long day. My arms are tired. I'm pumped.
Yeah, you gotta air out the armpits.
Air out the armpits. Jackie Young, I think, at this point in her career, is better than Chelsea Gray. Come at me, everybody.
Well, she's
Uh,
better offensively, but, like, what if
yes.
there was a world where Chelsea Gray averaged a double-double with points and assists?
Yeah, yeah, I hear you, and also Chelsea Gray's, just undeniable. Like even in Unrivaled, she was doing shit where it's like, oh man, this is like
This is what I'm
she
saying.
just operates in this place that like other players don't. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyways, it's gonna be Nafisa Collier, but this was just a fun exercise.
yeah, yeah. No, Ryan Howard for MVP for sure.
I don't know, like, I just feel so good about her winning it this year.
Oh, why would you not? She's like right there. Like it's
She is right there, and I feel like yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I feel very strongly. See, that's why sometimes I wonder when we see these odds, I wonder how much of the games they watch. Because I would have Caitlin Clark 3rd in these odds.
yeah. I agree. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a chance that my face is frozen again. And
Yeah, it is.
this is a new thing for me because I'm just opening so many tabs. Right now, I'm looking at a tab of like the top 100 ranked players because I was like, who else is a sneaky pick? Um, but I got distracted. What did you just say, Catherine?
I don't know, man. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing at you opening so many tabs while we're recording and just your computer not being able to handle it.
It's a
Um,
perfect metaphor for my ADHD.
yeah, what kinda laptop do you got there? Is it a laptop?
It's a laptop and it's usually pretty good, but I guess
Mm,
I'm pushing it to the edge.
not a brand we're endorsing.
Oh, Acer? It's a
Yeah,
Acer.
buddy, you gotta upgrade.
And it's not young.
My first laptop was an Acer laptop, and it crapped out on me after just a year and a half, and I was really upset about it. And after that, I started spending, like, a lot of money on my laptops, but then they last me a really long time.
Hmm.
Anyway, that's my laptop rant. Like,
Cheers.
I had, like, my MacBook Air, RIP, loved it so much, lasted me, like, 8 years.
That's beautiful.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a long time for a laptop.
It is.
I'm talking about it like it's a pet.
Yeah. No, I'm proud of you.
Alright. Enough with the condescending of the laptop stuff.
That's interesting.
What?
No, that's just my new condescending thing.
Oh, love that. Okay, so let's move on to our 13 teams, 13 questions.
Yes.
We're not going to go over every single team because some teams like the Liberty, it's like, are they going to repeat? You know what I mean? Like some of
Mhm.
these questions are kind of whatever. But let's look at some teams where we're like, huh, who are we like super curious about? Freddie, you had a few that you were gonna pick. You asked me to pick one. I picked one.
Yes, and who's your one? Or is that, like,
And I
gonna
could
be
go
r
first if you want.
Sure.
So my pick is the Atlanta Dream. So here's the thing. So on this article, oh, you always do this, written by I think it's like multiple
It's a
writers.
staff article, yeah.
Yeah, it's a staff article on ESPN. They say how will the Dream play under new coach Carl I'm thinking it's at Smiko? Smek anyways, we're bad with the
Smesco? Yes.
Smesco? Yeah, apologies if I got that wrong. I think the Atlanta Dream have so many more questions than this, but I do think this is the main one because I look at this roster and I have no idea how they're going to play. Right? Like their projected starting lineup, Jordan Canada, Alicia Gray, Brittany Griner, Ryan Howard, and Brianna Jones. I feel like I don't know if this team is gonna like attempt to run. I wouldn't imagine so with Brittany Griner. Are they gonna be like very half court? Are they gonna be very like pick and roll, constant screens and switches? Like, I don't know what this team's identity is going to be. And I feel like, this new coach and this new team really, like it's kind of like it's not a complete overhaul, but a lot of change has happened in Atlanta. I feel like the whole team is like a big question mark for me right now. I have no idea how they're going to play. I don't really know what to expect of them. I think we're kind of projecting them middle to the lower end of the league because we just
Mhm.
don't know what this team is. And I think this is one of the biggest question marks going into the season is who is the Atlanta Dream?
Yeah, I think, I'm fairly high on them. I mean, like, high on them in the sense of, like, I think they're gonna be, like, a 7 or a 8 seed, like, but, like, solidly, like, they finished 15-25. I see this team. Ryan Howard was injured for the first half of the year, and I see this team with the addition of Griner being, like, way closer to 500, maybe, like, slightly above 500, but that in and of itself being a big improvement. However, yeah, there's a lot of it could also go the opposite way where there's just too much new stuff going on. I mean, we love Griner on this podcast as well, but I think she struggled with Phoenix last year, the speed of the game,
She
and
really
like
did.
I think like a big part of this, the Atlanta's vision is being this like the team that sort of like, this coach anyways, like shoots the most threes, right? And they
Mhm.
really want to. So, uh, does Grinder fit into that? Like, you need
She
big.
can hit the 3. She
She
can.
well, yeah, well, A, she can hit the three, and B, you need like bigs. Like you need to like there's a lot of ways to spread out the floor. It's not just like five on the like 3-point line sort of thing. Like, you can have a big and everyone else on the floor is like ready to shoot a three. But I think that is a style that requires like a lot of up and down, a lot of speed. Like, you know, statistically, one of the better times to take a three is on the fast break or like the semi fast break. Like once
Mhm.
defenses really get set up, it's a tough, it's a tough
I
slog
guess
to
it's
kind of.
harder to get a good look. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
it's
Yeah.
way harder. Whereas like if you just have like four people running the fast break and like two people run to the corners, then you're probably gonna get a good shot. And how does Brittany fit into that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, like, I wonder, like, is it gonna be one of those offenses where I'm sorry, I don't know the actual technical term for this, but when they basically pass it to, like, across, like, the whole court. So, what I mean is, like, let's say you've got, like, a bunch of players, kind of around the three-point line, right? And it moves around the three-point line from left to right or vice versa.
Mhm.
And then Brittany Griner's, like, the last one. It's like that extra pass.
Mhm.
And then Brittany Griner gets it and shoots it because they're scrambling to cover everyone else. I don't know what that's called, I'm sorry.
I mean, I think there's a
But
bunch of names.
you can picture what I'm saying, though.
Like, yeah, like I can picture exactly what you're saying. This is like a super deep cut for do super deep sports cut. But during like when in the NBA when the Spurs were like this like wild passing team that hit a bunch of threes, they were loosely modeled after like Barcelona soccer and Spanish soccer, and they called it like tiki taka. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, and it was basically just like a lot of international basketballs like that. It's like overly generous. Like it's like looking for the great shot instead of the good shot.
Right. Cool.
I think that's kind of what you're speaking to. But that's like one whatever perception of it. And yeah, like can Griner fit into that even? Right? Because
Yeah.
playing with Diana for such a long time, like Diana was like such a yeah, like not she could do everything, but she's kind of like, "Give me the ball and get out of the way a little bit." Like, that's not
Yeah, and
what.
then she was like, "No problem, I'll clean up the board for you."
Yeah, exactly. It was a great, great partnership, but it doesn't really seem like that is the vision here. So Grinder's gonna have to buy into a new role, and I mean, I feel like she will. I'm interested to see it.
Yeah, I think she will too. Freddie, what's your team?
Okay, so I'm sort of stuck between a couple, but mine's sort of like, but I guess I'll start with the one which is a little bit generic. So like it's the Golden State Valkyries, and the question from Andrews in this article is simply what will be the Valkyries' identity in their inaugural season. So I think yeah, they talk about selecting, Cheyenne Sellers, Caitlin Shen, and then, Yuste, Yosite, which
Mhm. I think you did that right.
I got that right. And kind of like this international flavor, which is really cool. But for me, I'm like interested, like I extend that question to be like, there's the on-court identity, but also, like, the arena identity. Like, everything about this team, like, I'm gonna be really excited to see San Francisco with a team, like, not just because we're about to get a team and Portland's about to get a team, but because, like, the excitement of a new team in this time is gonna be electric. And when they, like, win their first game, it's gonna be huge. Like, who scores their first bucket? Like, do they, like, suck really bad? Like, that's a thing, like, that I think is pretty possible, right? So,
Yeah.
and then because 'cause they're also saying, like, uh, the coach, Natalie Nikasi, has spoken highly about, like, Kate Martin's voice in the locker room, which I'm like, that's great. But like, if your team's sort of like, we're gonna like Kate Martin's gonna be one of the leaders. It's like, well, Kate Martin didn't play for the Aces last year, so this team is not gonna be great. But anyways, I think just like the overall excitement of this team, and they got a lot of veterans, right? With Julie Van Loo, Tiffany Hayes, Kayla Thornton, Monique Billings, and Temi Fag-Benley. That's like the projected starting lineup. So the team has talent, definitely has talent, but yeah, what is the vibe like? Are there going to be, San Francisco celebrities? Like, what's the deal here?
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's my Val. I don't know if you have any comments to that,
No,
but
no, I think that's a good point. Like, were you gonna do a second team? You don't need to. We
yeah,
talked
I don't
about
need
that
to.
before. Yeah. Maybe we can save it for next week too, because I really like this article.
Yeah, it's good.
Um,
And these
yeah.
questions will persist
I mean, I agree. Like, I think, like, what their identity is gonna be, but their identity might just be like, "Hey, we're trying out here." You know what I
I
mean?
know. Well,
Like,
that's so fun to me too. Like even if their identity is like, oh, we're trying to like
we're
fucking,
trying, man. We're
we're trying not to get embarrassed. Like that's fun
Yeah,
to me
that might be the identity, and then, like, some team will fall asleep on them and they'll win and, like, it'll
for
be,
sure,
like,
for sure.
so amazing. I do think there'll be a lot of, fan crossover with the Warriors there, like, I think, like
I think so, right? Like,
yeah, because I mean, we've talked about this before about how the Golden State Warriors went from like a smaller market team to like one of the biggest franchises in all of sports. So, yeah, like I feel like there's going to be a lot of crossover. San Francisco's probably to some extent a city where people just want to be seen even if they're not, like, necessarily celebrities, but let's say they're in the tech world and, like, appealing to women
oh
is
my
part
god,
of their image, then they're
for
gonna
sure.
wanna be there kinda thing. I think they're gonna get a lot of that.
Yeah, a lot of tech bros.
Yeah, a lot of people that are like, "Hey, we wanna show that we support women and it's a part of our image." Like, it's gonna be, like, so, like, distant. It's not like, "Hey, I genuinely love I genuinely love the WNBA and basketball." Like, it's gonna be a little of that.
Yeah, and I do think they're gonna have a
Obviously, they'll have real fans, sorry, don't get me wrong. I'm
yeah,
talking
and
just about that front row.
for sure, for sure. But they're gonna have a ton of support and a ton of money, 100%,
Oh,
100%.
yeah, without question. Okay, let's say I like this. Let's save, some of these teams for next week as well.
Let's do it.
Um, okay, Freddie, fun question time.
Here
Let's
we go.
go.
So this is another Catherine edit and a good one. So it's media day. Here's the FFQ. I think one of the major highlights from media day, obviously Caitlin saying that like she thinks that Fever is a contender. That's like taking it's big news, right? But Catherine sent me the video of the therapy dog at uh,
The
at
Indiana Fever
the
had
Indiana
therapy
Fever. Yeah,
dogs visit them during
yeah.
training camp.
Uh, Side note, I work alongside therapy dogs often at the hospital. They're amazing. They're really, really powerful and incredible. But this made us both think, Catherine, if you could have a therapy animal that is not a dog, what would it be?
Mhm. Yeah, great question. Because obviously I have one and I'm love her very much. I'm obsessed with her.
Mhm.
But my therapy animal outside of a dog, not realistic for my personal day-to-day life, but if I could just revolve my life around my peace and happiness and I didn't have to like work and stuff, my therapy animal would be an elephant.
Great, great answer to this question.
I would
Folks,
have a therapy elephant.
this is why we play the game. For answers like that. Engelbert
Call
out.
us.
You know what I mean? This is why
The
we do it.
elephants are really joyful animals. They are friendly. They, if they're with people from the beginning and those people are kind, then they are also kind. You know what I mean? Like they are only aggressive towards people when they're put in uncomfortable situations.
Mhm.
Baby elephants are like amazingly cute. I would roll around in the grass with a baby elephant without question.
Beautiful.
I don't wanna ride an elephant because they don't want that. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow,
they don't want that, but I would roll in the grass with a baby elephant, and I would just go on, like, nice strolls. I just go on hikes with them
it's beautiful.
if I could,
It's downright beautiful.
but realistically, it's a dog. Anyway.
Yes, yes. So a lot of answers came through my dome here. So there's equine therapy, which is like a thing, but horses
Oh,
freak
I thought
freak
of a second therapy animal that's more realistic.
horses freak me out a bit, right? So I'm like
Yeah.
a bit skittish. But I also when I would go to South Carolina all the time, there was dolphins there, and dolphins were like so majestic and beautiful and
Oh.
amazing and friendly and smart and just so cool. But then there's also this out it's like I would wanna meet them in their territory, which is the ocean, and I wouldn't be, like, fully at comfortable, like, at home being on the ocean, you know what I mean? So it's not therapeutic for me. Uh, if you are in Toronto, do check out this company. So it's a long time ago, I'm 38 now.
Oh
For
my
my
god,
3rd
where is this
it's
going?
it's trust me, it's gonna be good. Uh, for my 30th birthday, uh my wife got me this thing called hands-on exotics. So this is rescue
Oh
animals
god.
that have been saved from bad owners or whatever, but they're generally like weird out there animals that like just can't be rehomed. So they're taken care of, but they'll every once in a while they'll you can pay for a service. Well, they'll showcase some of the animals that and keep them comfortable. And anyways, so the package I got that was incredible. The main animal was a capybara,
Oh
and
god.
yeah, you might think it's like they have really coarse hair. They're kind of
You'd have an
ugly.
emotional capybara.
You better believe it. And they are essentially like the elephant of rodents.
No, they're
So
a
like
gigantic
they are,
rodent.
but then if you ever saw one, they're so cuddly. The one I saw was 300 pounds. They basically just came and like sat on my lap.
What?
Yes. And they're like, you feed them like carrots and stuff, and they're just so cute and
Wow.
fat. And like if you had one in a pond in your backyard, it would just float around. So capybara,
All right. I love that for you.
the elephant of rodents. Elephant of rodents, baby.
My other pick that I think is more realistic for a therapy animal is sloth. I'd have a therapy sloth.
Oh, you're ripping on my rodent thing? You have a thing with a face this small? Get out of here.
What? Sloths
Th
are
their
amazing.
faces are like
What is
if you're
wrong
looking
with you that you don't think sloths are cute?
if you're watching YouTube, this is a sloth's face. Tell me if I'm doing a good job.
You're doing a terrible job. No, I'm not buying this impression at all, and you're good at impressions. I expect more from you. You gotta
Okay,
work on your sloth impression for next week.
next pod, full sloth makeup coming your way. Okay, I'm getting a professional makeup artist. This
Yeah,
is
do
why
that.
our pod needs more support, more money because like
This is why?
this is why. This is the type of shit I'd do. Like if it was like Freddie, you better bring it. Like like this is the stakes of your pod. I'd be like, all right, $300 to be made up like a sloth.
But it would be the show budget, it wouldn't even be your money.
That's right. But I think you'd be into it.
Alright. I stand by my choices. I
No, they're
like
good.
that
They're
we
good.
have very different, animal choices here, but that's fun. Thank you everyone for, listening, for tuning in, appreciate you. Remember to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you again. Let us know if you're interested in the fantasy team. Find us. It's like intense Google and find us. Let us know that you're interested. And thank you again, and we'll catch you next time.
Sweet. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Peace.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network.